I hope my detail isn't too great here and that I'm wasting our time, but there's that final jaw. So I got all 6 jaws, and this stuff was in this little box here. This is the original Atlas box for the 3-jaw chuck. But quite a few 1/4-inch high-speed bits here, and there are 2 jaws here brass. Those I believe belong in the steady rest, but there should be a 3rd one. And here's the rocker for the tool post, and this little V-block is meant to be used in a tool holder to hold boring bars, but I haven't seen that one yet. Among these, there are many that are pre-sharpened, and particularly I'm looking at this threading tool here that is so perfectly made. I wonder if these were tools that were bought from Sears, because they sold sets of tool bits pre-ground and ready to use so that people could buy that lathe and get right to work. So I think some of these were from the factory, because they are beautifully ground and unused, and there's right and left hand size like there was in that set that you used to see in the catalogs. And here, these are 3/8 bits, and this is the square-headed bolt that will be used on the bottom of the steady rest. So that's good stuff there, along with all the mess that the mice made. Well, let's see what we got left in here. There's a rather corroded Atlas holder for a cutoff tool. You know, I'm not saying this is the case, but mouse urine also is very corrosive. And when they get into something like this, that may be the rust. But look at this, the lid is totally eaten off. But inside of here, a little parts list, and this is apparently the cutter, still in the wrapper for that. Yeah, there's the cutter for the cutoff tool. In this dilapidated, eaten box. Oh. Wow. There it is, other than that rust there. And it does turn. This is the ball bearing center for the tailstock. Wow. Never been used. Look at how sharp that is. I think that'll be fine, because they are pre-lubricated. And there's no... Oh yeah, here it is. One only. Ball bearing tailstock center. Number 2 Morse taper. With the Sears catalog number. That's awesome. That is awesome. In here, well, it says threading tool rather generically. Looks like it was put on with a rubber stamp. There's some directions in there. And this is Atlas Press Company. And they're still in Cosmoline is the full 60-degree cutter. Never been used. You know, this is interesting to see. I don't believe I've ever seen one that had almost the full circle, because usually they've been ground down so many times that you don't have much left. But there, that is nice. Wow. I'm loving that. And that box is not destroyed. Although this one is. This is a, that's full of manure. And, you know, there is what I'm talking about, you know, because the mice have been in there, possibly urinated on it. But that is used to hold wood, if you're turning wood. Screws right into to whatever item you're turning. Kind of rough, though. I'll never do that anyway. Here's a Jacobs number 2 Morse taper, perfect shape, and that's number 2 to Jacobs series number 3. Well, that isn't. Well, maybe that's a Jacobs number 3. That's not a taper I'm used to seeing. I don't think I saw a drill chuck here, other than that big one that goes in the headstock. Well, there's another ball bearing center. Not so good, but it does turn. Probably will be serviceable. I don't know what that is, but I got 2 more of them. That's empty. There's the rest of that White Owl cigar. Those are mild, you know. Probably didn't kill too many men. I don't know what came in there, but... Alright, that completes this box. And we got one more small box to go through, or a big box with not many items. Thank goodness, some of you are saying. Let's take a look what's in this big Rubbermaid container here, and I'll lay it down on the bench where it's easier to look at. And there are not a whole lot in here. This is, there's a crotch center. Number 2 Morse taper. I believe I have one of those. That goes into the tailstock, and then you can do drilling using the spindle to hold the drill, and your round work would lay in here in order to drill it. Crotch center. Most of you have seen those, I think. Here we got a box. And this is probably an original. No, I don't see any name on this one. Oh, these are Lathe dogs. I'm going to dump this. Mouse mess and all. Lathe dogs. How many? We got 4. That was probably a set. Maybe that's in the catalog. And that hermaphrodite, I don't know. I don't believe that to be an Atlas product. Oh, look here. Boy, I got to wash my hands. There's half nuts. You know, all of the Atlas products, gears and all, are made of that Z-Mac, I believe they called it. And it's a zinc, aluminum, copper alloy that was die cast. So there's no machining on this. But these do wear because the threading and all of the feeding is done on Craftsman lathes with these. So, but those are brand new. That's nice. That's nice if I ever need them. That is the bearing that goes to the far right to support the lead screw. I don't know why there's an extra one. Maybe they changed lead screws when they made that conversion. Oh, look at this. We all know what that is. That's the dauber for the tailstock. And this Atlas lathe is old enough to where I think I noticed that there's a hole in there for tailstock lubricant or dead center lubricant. So there's the dauber. I wasn't really aware that Atlas used one because I've gone through that quite a bit with you on the other lathes. Now I don't know what these are unless they have something to do with the steady rests. Maybe this is just junk. I don't know. All right, that's it for that little box. These are the 2 jaws that go on the Atlas drill device. This is the so-called movable one, and they lock into the T-slot. So there's a pair of those. Thank goodness that I got those. This, although it looks like a piece of scrap, is the gib. It's a little rusty for that cross slide, I believe, or the compound, whichever one. I noticed one of them was missing, but I do have the gib because that's kind of a complicated piece if you had to make it, because it's got an angle on each end and there's the little holes for the set screws. So this is an end mill holder to be used with the milling attachment, and the drawbar. I don't see a drawbar, but that can be made. The drawbar pulls this into the headstock, and the end mill itself that looks like 3/8 is held in there with this, because the end mill can't really be held in a chuck because it would be hardened shank onto a hardened jaws. This is, okay, that's where that gib is going to go, right in here. Here's the cross slide with another tool holder and the tool post, but it's missing the wedge, but we found the wedge. This all looks to be in good shape. Maybe that didn't get a whole lot of use. I was scared that I wasn't going to get one of these with it, you know, that somebody had taken it off. But whoever had this was pretty good in that they tried to keep track of things, and so far, other than that drawbar, unless we run into it, I don't see anything that's missing that I have to make. I have no idea what this thing is, but that's a 1-inch bar. It's about at least 18 inches long, some kind of V-block, unless it was something they had made up to remove a chuck, but this still looks like it's way too big to be used on an Atlas lathe. That might just be scrap steel. I don't know. All right, here's the last box. This is the Banjo here that would have been taken off with the change gears, and the lead screw went in there, and this bolted onto the bed. And inside here, well, here's the other guard that would be needed. But with the quick change gearbox, that's unnecessary. That's aluminum. Here's a Craftsman wrench, 8-inch. Oh, it moves. But I got 100 of them. Yeah, there's a little vernier. I don't like those. That's what the kind that we used to see in school science labs. And here's all the change gears. Again, those are all the ZMAC. And there's a few more in there, and that's a bushing. 4 or 5 more gears. So probably all of the gears are there if I ever had to convert it back. And one of the projects I would like to do, I would like to convert it back temporarily and show how to change the gears, because there are some people that may have never done that and want to do it, but it is something that we all, as lathe owners, avoid at all costs. A little paperwork to look through and we're done. One of the very first things I have to do with all of this machinery when I buy it is, for safety's sake, I rewire it and get rid of the old 2-wire business and put a grounded 3-conductor wire. This is 110 volt, and so it's safe. And notice that I need to have a little guard on the rear shaft of this Craftsman motor, but it was a pretty common thing to have one end exposed. But if there is a keyway there and you reach around, you can very easily get wrapped up in it. So I think I'll make a little protection for that also. So my work is cut out for me, but it's going to be several months before it's warm enough to do anything here in northern Illinois. There wasn't much paperwork. This is just a little manual for the drum switch, the reversing switch. Gear clearance. I probably haven't talked enough about that, but when you set the change gears, that you need to observe the clearance. And this is marked or was printed in 1945, but that doesn't mean that that's when the lathe was built. Similarly, leveling the lathe, and that's 1944. Sears Roebuck. And the last of it here, this is kind of interesting, is that the mice have virtually eaten the envelope away. But they did not do anything with the contents, probably because this was just cheap paper, and this is the the glossy type clay paper, and probably didn't appeal to the mice. But here's all the information on installing that quick change gearbox. And I do not see a date on this. I wish there was, so I could tell about when that particular job was done. And if anybody knows when this lathe was made, because the serial number will be shown here in one of the clips, let me know what year this thing was made. I hope you liked my little adventure here, getting this 12-inch Craftsman Atlas lathe, and you're going to see it starring in probably many different videos over the years. So this is tubalcain saying please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and thanks for watching, and so long for now.